Right now at noon, Governor Tony Evers is highlighting some of the pieces that will be in his state budget. We'll tell you what it will include. And President Trump is preparing for his State of the Union speech tonight. We'll tell you what topics he's expected to discuss. Plus, the New England Patriots celebrating their 6th Super Bowl victory with a parade in Boston. We'll take you there live.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at noon.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Mark Kane. Thanks for tuning in to News 3 Now on this Tuesday noontime. We'll get to those stories in a bit, but first let's head over to the Weather Center. Meteorologist Chris Reese has a look at our first alert forecast, and things are changing.
Yeah, that's right, Mark. Look out below because temperatures are on their way down here in south central Wisconsin. I mean, we're talking temperatures that have dropped, in some cases, more than 20 degrees over the past 24 hours. 20 is how much we have dropped here in Madison. You work your way over towards Waukesha. They've dropped 23 degrees in the past 24 hours. Temperatures right now are at 24 degrees, at least here in town. But we zoom things out. We take a look across the upper Midwest as a whole, and temperatures that are in the single digits are as close as the Twin Cities, folks. And yes, that cold air will gradually begin to work its way south. It's going to take it a couple days to do so. Winds out of the east and northeast at 9 miles per hour right now. Wait for those winds to turn out of the north and west. That's when we'll see our temperatures drop even more. So we're going to hold steady with where temperatures are for now, but we are already paying attention to this next disturbance. Moving in from the west, it's going to bring a mix of light snow along with freezing rain and sleet as we go through the overnight hours. In fact, winter weather advisories have been issued for all of us in the viewing area. Some of those winter storm warnings far off to the north and west, and ice storm warnings just to our south. With that, it is an alert day here in the News 3 Now First Alert Weather Center. We're looking at roughly 1 inch of snow along with the glaze and upwards to a 1/4 inch of icing in some spots, Mark. I'll have your full hour-by-hour forecast coming up in just a bit.
All right, we'll check back with you. Thank you, Chris. Topping our news, a Madison man was arrested after assaulting a vulnerable woman who has disabilities. A Madison police report says 31-year-old Michael Neal was arrested for second-degree sexual assault. Neal met the woman on Tinder. That's a social media dating app. The victim, a woman in her 20s, went to Neal's Maple Valley Drive home over the weekend thinking they were going to hang out together. The woman ended up in the hospital due to injuries from the sexual assault. High levels of arsenic found in 2 samples of Elkhorn drinking water in October violated state and federal drinking water standards. Officials with the City of Elkhorn Utility Department says the samples indicate that there is arsenic in the city's drinking water system in violation of the state and federal safe drinking water standards. Officials said there is not an immediate risk, which is why residents weren't notified until Monday, and residents do not need to use an alternate water supply. Sun Prairie Elementary School is closed due to a water main break. District officials said the water main break happened near Royal Oaks Elementary School and has shut off water to the building. Parents were asked to pick up their children from the school. Officials said they will not be able to release students to anyone other than their parents without explicit permission from the parent or guardian. Any student not picked up before 10 o'clock this morning was sent to Meadowview Elementary School for the rest of the day. Students will then be shuttled back to Royal Oaks Elementary School at the end of the day for their regular transportation home. Governor Tony Evers says his state budget proposal will close the dark stores loophole that lets companies assess property taxes using the value of an empty big box store instead of an operational store. Evers affirmed his commitment to closing the loophole today after speaking at a meeting of the Wisconsin Counties Association. Local governments have been leading the push to close the loophole that results in a store getting lower property tax assessments, which saves the business money but costs government tax revenue. Evers calls keeping the current practice in place a non-starter.
What happens as a result is that they underpay taxes, and then the primarily homeowners and other business members of the community end up paying that. It should be fair for all, and in order to do that, we have to close that loophole.
The legislature considered a bill last session that would have prohibited assessors from comparing active stores' property value to dark stores, but the measure never got to a vote. After a 1-week delay prompted by the partial government shutdown, President Trump delivers his State of the Union address to a joint session of Congress tonight. Trump is putting some last-minute touches on tonight's address. Advisors say one of the speech's major themes is a call for bipartisanship and unity. The president is expected to renew his call for a wall along the southern border.
He is as committed today as he's ever been to making sure we get real border security. That includes a wall, and he'll make that case tonight.
We want to get something that can get a strong bipartisan agreement, and we have to get it done by the end of this week because you have to get the paperwork all done and filed.
In addition to border security and national unity, the president is expected to tout the economy, talk about tariffs and international trade, and call for a strong military. CBS News will have live coverage of the State of the Union. It'll begin at 8 o'clock tonight, right here on Channel 3. And right now, the New England Patriots are celebrating their 6th Super Bowl victory. More than 1 million fans expected to attend the victory parade being held in downtown Boston. The Patriots defeated the Los Angeles Rams 13-3 Sunday night. New England receiver Julian Edelman was named the MVP of the Super Bowl after catching 10 passes for 141 yards. And while many football fans are sad that the NFL season is over, baseball fans are getting excited. The Milwaukee Brewers packing up and heading to spring training in Phoenix, Arizona. Pitchers and catchers will report on February 13th. The first full team workout will happen on February 19th. The crew will spend just over a month at spring training, and in just 51 days, count them down, the crew will start the 2019 season on March 28th as the St. Louis Cardinals come to Milwaukee for opening day. Won't be long now. There's more to come on News 3 at noon. We'll see what Howard's working on in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
Luck comes in all forms, including the Chinese dish that we're making today. In case you're not aware, today is the start of the Chinese New Year. It's a time-honored holiday that focuses on family, festivals, and food. One of the many traditions that takes place during this time is to decorate streets and homes with everything from red paper lanterns to cutouts that represent love and happiness. You see, red signifies good fortune. So let me share with you a recipe that very well may bring you prosperity and luck. Here's what we do. After cooking some spaghetti till it's al dente, we drain it like normal. While that sits for a sec, in the same pot, we saute some thinly sliced carrots and minced garlic in a bit of oil. Once tender, we add some soy sauce, hoisin sauce, which we can find in our market's ethnic aisle, a bit of salt and pepper, and some scallions. After this heats up, we'll add the pasta back to the pot, and in minutes, it's ready to serve. And if you want, you could even add some cooked shrimp or chicken to make it an all-in-one meal. When you serve this during the Chinese New Year, or any time of year, are you ever in for a simple yet tasty treat? I do hope you'll go online and get the recipe for our lucky Chinese noodles, just in time to make this your lucky day. Rumor has it, the longer the noodle, the more prosperous the year. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today I'm in search of the longest noodle as a way to say, ooh, it's so good.
Thank you, Howard. There's more to come on News 3 now at noon. Up next, meteorologist Chris Reese is tracking some possible freezing rain for later today. More in his first alert forecast coming up. Well, the State of the Union is the focus on Wall Street, and Valentine's Day is losing its spark for many Americans. Diane King Hall has more in today's Money Watch report.
Wall Street is on State of the Union watch like much of America today. Investors will be looking to see if President Trump strikes a bipartisan tone. Wall Street will try and read the tea leaves on what he says about prescription drug pricing and U.S.-China trade talks. BP is out with its quarterly report card and profit soared. The British oil giant says it raked in a record $2.7 billion. Profit rose thanks to increased output and higher prices. Charlotte Russe filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy and plans to close 94 stores. The young women's clothing chain becomes the latest mall-based retailer to file for bankruptcy protection. The company is making its first appearance in bankruptcy court today. Charlotte Russe says it suffered from a sharp decline in sales and in-store traffic. And Americans are expected to spend a record amount on Valentine's Day, but attitudes about the day are changing. According to the National Retail Federation and Prosper Insights, a little more than half of those 55 and younger plan to celebrate this year. That is down from as many as 72% in 2009. Those surveyed say it's become over-commercialized or they just aren't interested anymore. But people who plan to mark the day with gifts and goodies will spend an average of $162. And that's your CBS Money Watch report. For more, head to cbsmoneywatch.com. At the New York Stock Exchange, I'm Diane King Hall.
Diane, thank you. At the noon hour, the Dow Industrials is up 110 points. The NASDAQ is also up 27, as is the S&P 500 up over 4. Let's check in now with Q106 Farm Director Pam Yankee with today's Farm Report. How are your numbers looking?
Well, my numbers are quiet, to be quite honest with you, Mark. So China is celebrating their Lunar New Year this week, so they're absent the marketplace. There were reports from the U.S. Department of Agriculture that China did purchase anywhere between 1 and 3 million metric ton of U.S. soybeans. That led to a little bit of a short rally yesterday in our soybeans, but it's not sustaining the markets today. Our corn is basically markets. Cents. Again, we're looking towards Friday in the World Ag Supply Demand Report that will be out. That will be the first hard, tangible information that the federal government's provided to the marketplace since the fourth quarter of 2018. Everybody is gambling on the fact that numbers are going to come in smaller than we had expected. Got to keep an eye on what's going on in South America. They picked up some rain. They think that will grow the South American corn crop, but the soybean crop may already be too far gone. So a lot of that weighing and measuring going on in the marketplace, and we'll see what he says in the State of the Union address tonight. As far as dairy markets are concerned, again, fluid milk contracts are trending lower. You got to get all the way out to August of 2019 before we see any fluid milk contracts that are providing $16 opportunities for dairy farmers. Do want to remind our dairy farmers that Dr. Mark Stevenson, Center for Dairy Profitability, is traveling the state trying to explain all the tools available in the 2018 Farm Bill, as well as risk management insurance out there. Check in with your county extension office and find a meeting location near you. Barrel cheese today down a half, $1.29 1/4. 40-pound block cheese dropped another 3 cents to $1.45 3/4. The double A butter down a half at $2.27 3/4. So like I said, the quicker they can start kicking some of those federal reports back into the marketplace, Mark, the more comfortable I think the markets will be trying to, make some hopefully positive movement in our corn, beans, and dairy. We'll wait and see. Friday will be the big day.
The trickle down from the shutdown continues. That's
it is truly 60 reports, buddy. We got to try to kick back into the trade. So
we have a lot of
I hope it doesn't come all at once.
Yeah, a lot of good reading coming up, I guess.
Yeah.
All right, Ben. Thank you.
Yep.
Let's head over to the weather. First alert forecast, and we have an alert day.
That's right, Mark. We do have an alert day here in the News 3 First Alert Weather Center, or the News 3 Now First Alert Weather Center. Let's go ahead and get you started. First and foremost, all of us are under winter weather advisories. We're looking at roughly about 1 inch of snow, but you could see a glaze to upwards of a 1/4 inch of ice. Those winter weather advisories do include the entire area. Ice storm warnings as you work your way just south into northern Illinois. Once you get up past Black River Falls, there are some winter storm warnings with the system that we do have coming in. Now here's a live look outside. Of course, things are cloudy. The clouds already rolling in ahead of the system. The temperature 24 degrees, so we are below freezing. Anything that falls will be wintry in nature, with the ground going back below freezing as well. Winds out of the east and northeast at 9 miles per hour as we speak. 23 as you work your way up towards the Dells. 28 in Janesville. So our entire area has fallen back below freezing. Teens as you work your way up towards the north and west. And that's substantially colder than we were at this time yesterday. And we're already supporting any kind of snow to work its way into the area. We're tracking our next system right now, moving throughout parts of southern Minnesota and northeastern Iowa. That will begin to move in, especially as we go through about the next 4 or 5 hours or so. And the thing is, we are not just talking about snow. What's also going to move in is a layer of warm air. And so here's the deal. As precipitation begins to fall out of a cloud, if that entire column is below freezing, that is when you get snow. But when you have a warm layer that moves in, you can get sleet or freezing rain. And depending on how thick that warm layer is will determine whether or not you get sleet or freezing rain. I do think we're going to see a little bit of both, especially as we begin to go through the next 24 hours or so. So let's take you hour by hour. Here we are at 5:30. Things may start off at snow for a time, but notice the warm nose moving in, changing things over to a period of freezing rain and some sleet during the overnight hours. Now that does clear out quickly as we head towards your Wednesday morning. So I do think that'll give road conditions time to improve. And we're not talking about a ton of icing by any means. Generally, it's going to be less than 1/10 of an inch here, upwards towards 1/4 inch as you work your way closer towards places such as Kenosha and Racine. Snow amounts likely about 1 inch or less, and higher snow amounts as you work your way farther to the north. So we're going to keep a close eye on that as well. But then we're paying attention towards Wednesday night into Thursday. That's when the next round comes in. And even though this is showing rain right now, check out those temperatures. They are below freezing, so that would lead to freezing rain going back over to a period of sleet and snow that we're going to watch headed into Wednesday night and Thursday as well, which those are also alert days. Beyond that, colder air does begin to settle into our pattern, folks, and we are talking days where the highs will struggle to get out of the teens again. By Friday, 11 is as warm as we get for a high, and we are likely going to be staying below average as we go through the next several days. So again, 3 alert days in your forecast, especially Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Here's the deal, though. By Friday, more sunshine does return. We do have more chances for snow coming into our forecast throughout next week, and temperatures that'll be about average for this time of the year.
If you're heading south, ice storm warning. That's
yeah,
pretty
ice
serious.
storm warnings. You're talking upwards of 1/2 inch of ice down there, which does not sound like a lot, but 1/2 inch of pure ice. That's bringing down power lines and trees at that point.
All right, it's a mess.
Yes.
All right, thank you, Chris.
Anytime.
There's more to come on News 3 Now at noon. Angie Edge from the Dairy Farmers of Wisconsin is here. She'll be sharing a recipe for warm beer cheese dip. Yes, please. It's right after this. Angie Edge from the Dairy Farmers of Wisconsin is here, and we're sharing a recipe for warm beer cheese dip.
Yes.
Sounds good. What do we got going here?
February is a month of pairing and sharing.
Okay.
So we have some great Wisconsin cheese recipes with some Wisconsin beers. So first off, we have some homemade pretzels that you're actually going to use 1 tube of refrigerated pizza crust, cut it into 12 1-inch pieces, roll it like a pretzel. After you've baked it for about 10 minutes, you're going to cover it with Wisconsin Parmesan cheese. So
sounds
we
good.
have some of the Wisconsin Parmesan that is actually one of our world winners and a winner at the American Cheese Society. So always nothing but the best.
Oh, that's good.
And then with that, we have a warm beer cheese dip that has 2 types of Wisconsin cheese as well. So you're going to start by bringing to a boil some Wisconsin amber ale. You're going to be adding in 1 container of cubed cream cheese, and then also 3 cups of our pepper jack cheese to give it a little bit of zip and a little bit of spice, but it also melts beautifully. So more cheese and more cheese.
You can't have enough cheese.
And of course, with that cheese, beer goes great. So with the Parmesan cheese, you're going to notice on our website we have different pairing guides. So this is actually a Scottish ale that's made in Reno, Wisconsin. Because Parmesan is aged for 10 months, it has a full nutty flavor. A darker beer goes better with that. And then the pepper jack cheese we're pairing with the amber ale. So a great flavor combination together again. So Wisconsin cheese goes great with wine, beer, all different types of beverage accompaniments.
You got the whole state wrapped up here.
Nothing gets better than Wisconsin cheese and beer, right?
Absolutely, and this all looks great, and it's all online?
All online. You can find the recipe for the warm pretzels and dip at wisconsincheese.com.
All right. Can't wait to dig in.
Yes.
Angie, thanks very much.
Thank you.
And here's Chris with one final check of the forecast.
That's right, Mark. We do have an alert day in our forecast. We're talking the possibility, at least, of some freezing rain, sleet, and snow. Accumulations will not be major, but just enough to potentially cause some major issues out there. We're looking at about a glazing of freezing rain with up to an inch of snow in spots, but we have more alert days than just tonight because we'll be doing it all over again as we go through Wednesday night and into Thursday. Beyond that, into the weekend, temperatures are cooling down, -3 by Friday morning, topping out around 11 for Friday afternoon, then gradually warming back up towards average temperatures early next week.
Winter is still here, that's for sure. All right, Chris, thank you. Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you back here at 4. In the meantime, have a great afternoon.